to echo the sentiments of my colleagues there in relation to this. I think as a player, a football player and GAA player in the past, you know, we've seen something tangible being returned to rural Ireland again. This is not just small towns and big towns and villages. This is actually small rural parishes. I know myself where I'm from, there's rural clubs, small rural clubs that are struggling to survive have now got funding back into the system again, and they wouldn't even have a town or a village base to try and draw from. You're talking about the real small towns and clubs, so this is really something tangible that can be seen in rural Ireland that the government are giving back with an economy that has generated, after what I'd listened to before, an economy that's now generating funding that we can give back and can give out. I want to welcome the appeals process. I think it's great that we're giving feedback to the clubs to show them where they may have gone wrong in relation to that and to see what the assessment criteria is.
Thank you, Deputy Neville, and thank you for revealing your past in GAA, letting us know you were
Present soccer player.
And the Deputy Neville is quite the legend in the local soccer scene in Limerick. I suppose just to say in response to Deputy Deering, the key problem with invalidations is title issues. Generally, the largest amount of invalidations are as a result of the title documents not being in order, and they have to be there to protect public monies being allocated, and that is the reason why we require such stringent adherence to the title requirements. Also, supporting documentations like bank statements need to be in date, the names need to correspond with the applicants, so they would be other causes. What we will be looking for in this particular appeals process is whether or not the department was at fault in the invalidation of the application and whether there was an over-interpretation of our own rules. They would be the primary reasons for adjudicating the outcomes of these appeals. And just finally, in relation to Deputy Neville's comments in relation to the rural aspect of the Sports Capital Programme, absolutely. The Sports Capital Programme gets into every community in the country, regardless of where it is, and it is one of the most pro-rural programmes that is there, I think, by the state. And again, I just want to acknowledge the role that Minister Ross played in the budget negotiations, because without that additional 30 million for the local programme, we would have had to have a cut-off point, and we would not have been able to give something to every valid applicant. And again, can I just emphasise, it's the first time ever that every valid applicant under the Sports Capital Programme local scheme has actually received funding, and it has got into communities the length and breadth of the country, and it is a very, very important source of funding for these sports organisations.
Now, the gentlemen you have a minute each. I'm going to start with Deputy Neville. I'm going to go in reverse order this time, so you have a minute. I'll try and keep it 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for the Minister for that. I just want to reiterate that communication process, particularly as you said, for small rural organisations, because in the past there was frustration there at where there might have been an incorrect application or may have been invalidated, that there was no communication or no feedback to allow them to go, well, the next time at least we know where to go, because every time that one goes to apply, they're actually educating themselves in the process. So I think that feedback loop is imperative, and we need to continue that to have more synergy and more integrated communication between the department and the organisations that are applying, because as you said, Minister, these are voluntary people, and they have to do this coupled with running their own lives, coupled with maybe getting underage matches organised on a Saturday morning, coupled with raising funds, running table quizzes, all that for a voluntary organisation. And as you know, particularly in these types of organisations, it can be difficult. There's always maybe the same 3 or 4 people that are running it, so I very much welcome it. Thank you.
Deputy Martin.